Yo, it's Paul Fleming, and this is my Snapshot. That was my first fight after 2 years off, that fight. I always wanted to have an Indigenous walkout, you know, and always in my head I always was like, when I fight for a world title, I'm gonna have an Indigenous walkout, but that kind of was like my world title, you know. I come back after had some mad mental health issues and 2 years off, so, you know, that was like, for me, that fight back was like a world title fight, and it's on such a big stage, and to get the respect and all the positivity that come out of that fight, you know, it didn't get to finish the fight because of the head clash, but, you know, the momentum that created from that walkout, and the people that, you know, message me and say the best walkout in Australian boxing history, so I still think it is. So yeah, that's a real special moment for me, and, you know, I'll remember that moment. I think a lot of people will. There's a sign saying home of Paul Fleming, Tully's first Olympian. I come from a small town up in far north Queensland, wettest place in Australia, and born and bred there, lived there for the first 16 years of my life until I moved away. You know, home, like they say, home is where the heart is, and, you know, I'm looking to move back there, and when I'm retired from boxing, when I'm all finished, I'd love to live back there and, you know, train some other young fighters, see if we can find the next Paul Fleming up there. I'm sure there is. So yeah, it was an awesome life living up there, you know, the simplicity of things. Picture of my home where where I was born and come home to. It's just an old shack held up by cut down gum trees with a tin roof, and yeah, I lived there, and we ended up doing it up, but it still never had doors or windows. It was just like an open, you'd think it was a shed. It was just like an open plain house, but back then is when when I first lived there, and I had fond memories of living there, not so fond, never had the best life with mum and dad. You know, dad was, how do I say, very chauvinistic and all that sort of stuff. So I don't have the fondest memories of the living in the house, but living on the property and living in the bush and that. I think that's what saved me, you know. If I lived in the city and were going through them sort of things, I don't know, I would have gotten a lot worse of stuff than I did there. You know, there's not much things you can do out in the bush, you know, when you're feeling angry, you go kick a gum tree or something, not like you can go steal something or break into something or, you know, do the things, get into a lot of trouble. The only trouble I could get out there is if I ran into a crocodile down the river. So, you know, it kind of probably saved me having the life that I had and living out in the bush. So. Yeah, that was the head clash. That was the scar, the head clash that I got, the stitches in my face from the Bruno Tarimo fight. Yeah, I was emotional after that. You know, I had a lot to prove in myself. You know, coming back after 2 years, and, you know, first fight without my previous team. So, you know, I trained really hard for the fight too, and put in a lot of time. And then, you know, to get first time, that's the only draw I have on my record. The only blemish I have on my record was from the cut, and ended up getting 7 stitches. And I think it's character building. You know, now I've got a couple in my face now, so I don't mind them. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, the fight got stopped, and, you know, we didn't get to finish the fight. But my opponent, Bruno, you know, we actually had Bruno down here for the training camp for this the fight that I was supposed to have in Dubai. So me and him still talk. Lovely person. I wish him all the best, and, you know, think these things happen, but, you know, we live to fight another day. I fought Gaddafi Dejelkier, a French guy who actually won the silver medal to Lomachenko in the final. That was Lomachenko's first gold medal. And I lost that fight, close fight, back and forward. You know, even in the amateurs, all my fights were interesting, and unfortunately his experience and conditioning just shone through. But I was like a 20-year-old kid, I was only a young fella, and he'd been around fighting international for a long time, so his experience kind of shone through, and you know, he ended up getting the win. So, but, you know, from that, I turned professional at the end of that year and signed with Top Rank, and had the start of my professional career, so it wasn't all a negative. Being the first Indigenous artist to design something for the Summer Olympics, and they got to wear it at the Winter Olympics as well, and the photo of all the boxers, Harry, Paulo, Sky, and that got the photo for me and sent it through, and Alex Winwood was in the photo as well, and to see Alex Winwood get to wear the Indigenous uniform at the Olympics, another Indigenous boxer wear it at the Olympics, it was a real humbling experience, and that's something that I'll cherish. My art thing, I'd never really done art before, and going through mental health sort of found its way to me, and started painting in 2014. Kind of found my culture, found myself, and I was lucky to be on the Indigenous Advisory Committee for the Olympics, and kind of put it to them, and they were all good with it, and yeah, luckily I got to do that. That was me doing some round sparring with Jacko. Me and him fought 4 times in the amateurs. He holds 3 wins over me. But we've always been fierce competitors, but always been great mates. And I speak to him weekly. I speak to him, and he has the same similar struggles as me with depression. So we talk about that a bit and kind of help each other through that. And he inspires me. He's got this sort of drive that at times I wish I had. He's got this real relentless drive, and the way the guy trains, and he's an inspiring dude. And it's always great to train and move around with guys that are have that similar respect for each other. So I always cherish that friendship that I have with him. That's a Christmas picture this year we took of my 6 kids. I got a daughter, 4 boys, and just recently had my 2nd daughter. And always wanted to be a dad, always wanted a family, and I'm lucky that I've got the best missus in the business. She's best cook, and she compliments me. And I'm the loud, out there, boisterous kind of person, and she's more introverted and more nurturing. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm crazy. So I've got 4 boys that are exactly like me, and I say we got the 3 Fs in our house: footy, fighting, and Fortnite. And just the whole holidays has just been punch-ons. Have punch-ons over everything. So I'm waiting for the footy season to start so they can go and have a little bit more outlet for their energies and that. But the Fleming household is a crazy one, but full of love, and the girls really balance us boys out. So we're lucky to get this last girl. We needed her, we were banking on her. So, we got the girl to break up the 4 boys in the middle. So yeah, we're really fortunate. The Jackson England fight, great fight, one for the ages, one for the Australian, fight fans that'll remember for a long time. I put in a lot of training for that fight, and all my last 3 fights, I'm different now, I train a lot more than I did when I can't just rely on my natural skill, because I'm starting to get older, and when you start to get older, you really have to cross your T's and dot your I's, and for that, I train like a machine for that. And to put on a show like we did, to give our all, we both did, and no animosity, no bad feelings, no hard feelings, just get out there and put it all on the line, and get the win is always the icing on the cake too. That's always what you set out there for. So yeah, I'll remember that fight till the day they put me in the ground, I think. That was a reaction to the crowd, a lot I knew it was a good fight, but I didn't know it was a great fight until I seen the crowd and seen how invested the crowd were in it, and that really that shows in that picture. I was real proud of my performance and proud to put my culture on show. And when you have such an out there personality and you put yourself out there, it's always good to get the win, because to do all that stuff, to have the crazy walkouts, and then to lose, it kind of takes away from it, you know. So to get the win, yeah, it was awesome. Disappointment, man, you know, to put in all them hard hours, you know, training, and all the money my sponsors and that put into that, and the time we put into it, and you know, to fly all the way over there to Dubai and, you know, to not get a fight, man, it's a tough pill to swallow. But, you know, lucky the icing on the cake was that I had Christmas as soon as I got back. So, you know, I just focused, readjusted, and just wanted to get home to the family and spend Christmas with the family. You know, I tried not to dwell too much on it, because, you know, when you start looking at stuff like that, then, you know, it really affects your mental health. So, you know, we move on. We're always looking forward and moving on. So, you know, we're looking at March, you know, here in Panthers.